This is the HomeTech Podcast for Friday, February 26th from Sarasota, Florida. I'm Seth Johnson. Welcome to the HomeTech Podcast all about home technology and home automation. This week, we're going to dive right into our HomeTech headlines, but I have three big product announcements that came out this week. I want to cover those. Talk about a pretty good article from Stacy Higginbotham over there at the Internet of Things podcast. She wrote a pretty good article about IoT spam, which it's near and dear to my heart. And of course, we got a pick of the week this week. So, but first, something new to the show this week, doing live streaming. So I'm going to try and see how this goes. I've, of course, got the podcast doing its thing and recording over there. But I'm also live streaming out to Facebook, Periscope, which is some kind of Twitter property. I'm not sure. And YouTube. So if you want to join the show, that's where I'm going to start directing people, is over to one of those, because it's actually easier to do all this. Believe it or not, it's easier than streaming the audio out, which wasn't working for a lot of people. So I'm going to try and keep that audio stuff going, but it's kind of a pain, honestly. But the video stuff, I can literally click 3 check boxes and it goes out to 3 different places that I don't think we use very much on the show. So I'm going to start using this and seeing how we can do it. I've been practicing a couple of times this week on seeing how I can switch video and the best way to do that. And I think I've landed on a pretty good solution. I'm not sure. So we'll see how it goes. If there are any issues with it, we'll figure it out and fix it for next week. So best of luck. And with that, let's go ahead and jump into some HomeTech headlines. All right. This week, we got a big sneak preview last week, courtesy of Dave Zatz, coming across a product page published a little too early on Best Buy's website. But now we got the full details behind the Ring Video Doorbell Pro. The Video Doorbell Pro replaced its immediate predecessor as the flagship of the range, offering new features dubbed 3D motion detection and bird's eye view. Both harness a new radar sensor with a range of up to 30 feet to better identify and track people approaching your home. The former is designed to make motion detection far more accurate, while the latter uses radar to track a person's movement across your front yard in real time. The Pro 2 also has a new 15 by 36p HD video camera with a fisheye lens, which is a little bit better. Right now, it's got a 90-degree lens on the Ring doorbells, and a lot of newer doorbells were coming out with a fisheye lens, so they've added that to this. It gives you 150 degrees of a view in both directions, so you can actually see something like your packages sitting down below. So that's kind of nice. It's good to see that they've updated that. The Pro 2, of course, is priced at $250 and will ship on March 31st. So glad to see that. Looks pretty interesting to me. It doesn't look any different. I've got a picture of it right there. Doesn't look any different than the Pro 1, but except it has this radar feature, and I suspect we're going to see that. We're going to see that do a little bit more with more of their products in the future. Typically with the Ring, you see kind of the same features migrate out to other products that they have. So I could imagine that radar feature would be pretty interesting inside of something like maybe their floodlight cams, that kind of thing. Maybe not so much the inside cameras, but the floodlight cameras would be pretty cool to have radar in there. And then that way you could actually track somebody walking around your property. So I'm very curious to get my hands on one of these things and at least see how it works. If it improves the motion, I don't know. You tell me. I've had pretty good results with my motion detection. I've got it kind of squared off and it doesn't pay attention to the road very much. But I guess I can assume that most people don't have the same setup that I do. So they probably don't see so I've seen some people set up where it's okay, you've got the house, you got a sidewalk, and you got your road. And of course you're going to get motion events on that all day long. So, Robert here in our chat, he asks, is the radar real or marketing BS? That's TBD, right? I'm not too sure. So I'd like to find out. And I don't think my house in particular is a good use case for that, because I've already I don't have the ideal setup for what I think they're trying to go with this. If the radar is actually some kind of radar and not just analytics coming off of the camera like it was before, they might be able to determine if somebody is like on the sidewalk or actually on your sidewalk coming up to your house, which I think would be a pretty nice for a lot of people who may face a busy sidewalk or a busy street and have notifications going off all day and night. I don't think those notifications are very useful for them. So I'm glad to see that they've come up with that. Moving on, POWIT, interesting new company that we're getting some details on. Former Package founders Victor Pack, along with partners Dustin Jankov and Steve Latham, I guess, created a highly successful networking company called PackEdge, and they're back in the custom insulation market. This time, the trio has formed POWIT Industries Technology. Sorry, I'm messing this up all over. POEWIT, WIT. Kind of a hard thing to say. I guess I'm supposed to say POWIT. I can't say it. It's a new self-funded venture looking to shape up the market with their cloud-based interior lighting, exterior security lighting, UP uninterruptible power supplies, and wall switches. So back in February 2016, I think we all remember Control 4 bought PackEdge for $32.7 million. Since then, Victor Pack, Jankov, Lantham have been on the lookout for another opportunity, and they seem to run across it with POWIT. I cannot say this. POEWIT, which is a somewhat witty company name referring to its focus on creating power over Ethernet devices with intelligence, and that's the WIT part. So it makes sense. It's just impossible for someone who fights a Texas accent to say. POEWIT was born with a focus on commercial grade equipment powered by PoE and connected by the cloud. The products were developed in the spring of 2020, but of course, COVID-19 forced them to pause production due to supply chain concerns. I can totally understand that. I've had a product that's been sitting on the shelf. We're just waiting. We're waiting to release it. We ran into Chinese New Year, and of course, that just shuts down the entire country. And I can't ship this thing until we can get orders in. So that's going to be fun. What I do think is cool from these guys is they've got a number of things that are inside their portfolio. They've got 3 UPS models, and of course, it makes sense if they're going to be doing PoE lighting that they'd want to have some kind of battery backup. So that's good. So you can throw these battery backups on, of course, network switches. They've got PoE network switches. Looks like they've got a couple of different models, 24, 48 port gigabit switches with 4G and 10G uplinks. Outdoor lighting. They've got these are all over their website, and they're like LED floodlights that are powered by PoE Plus, and they look good. But I don't know. Like it's not the product I would put up, I suppose, but it looks like it's just like outdoor lighting. Now their interior lighting looks like your standard can lights, and they've got 18 different models, PoE lights in various sizes, and they've got square and round bezels, all that good stuff. So that's pretty interesting. Motion sensors, of course, and wall switches. They've got some capacitive touch glass surface wall switches. So this is a pretty interesting product that I mean, we've seen these types of things already, like starting out. I think there was a company, it was right up in St. Pete. I'm going to mess up the name, maybe LumaStream, that was out that did like DMX controlled LED lighting. And basically they put in, like it could all be low voltage wired. So I wonder like how this is, we're going to start butting heads with electricians fairly quickly from low voltage integrators. And that's not going to go well when we start taking jobs from electricians to put up lights. So I'm really curious to see how this plays out, especially since this type of product is pretty, I don't know, it's pretty compelling. It looks like you can control each light independently, because they're all independently addressed. They're all up on the up on the network somehow, so you can control them all. Yep, EMS 99. Thanks. Yep, LumaStream. That's what it was. And let's see, there's another one. And Vietra and Black Nova have glass keypads. Yes, those are very expensive too, and they look very nice. But I don't know. I'm really curious if anyone is going to be putting these in. Integrators are going to be trying to put this in because, like I said, we're butting heads with electricians when we start taking over fixtures. Like we can specify and install these because they're low voltage devices, right? I'm not sure. I'd love to know what the electrical code says about this, right? There's no difference between us installing this type of device and a speaker, if you think about it, it's a hole in the ceiling. And if it's installed correctly and hooked up correctly, we're good to go. So I don't know. Oh, EMS 99 is Eddie. So hi, Eddie. Thanks for popping in. Moving on here. Let's take a look. See what else we got. Oh, Spotify Hi-Fi. This caused some disruption in the office today, with people cheering and celebrating. I'm not sure how this is going to go over. So beginning later this year, premium Spotify subscribers in select markets will be able to upgrade their sound quality to Spotify Hi-Fi and listen to their favorite songs in CD quality audio. So that's so CD quality is 16-bit 44 kilohertz at roughly 1.4 megabits per second on the bit rate, which is great. It sounds good. Everybody loves CD quality, if you can remember that. and Spotify is joining like services like Deezer and Tidal that are already offering CD quality streaming, but Tidal has a master's option, which gets way up there. It goes up to like 24-bit 192, gets you up in that 9.2 megabits per second range. So you've got Amazon Music HD, which also offers an 850 kilobits and per second for their HD service, and as high as 3.7 megabits for their Ultra HD. Apple, oddly enough, only 256 kilobits per second. So kind of all over the place here. My big question is like, does this matter at all? Like, is this something that, I mean, do people, I guess there are some people who care about better audio and better quality music, but for the most part, if you're getting 256, the MP3 algorithms are really good, whether we want to admit to it or not. Yeah, it'd be better to go up to something higher bit rate. But like for most people, I don't think they're going to care. I don't think most people are going to say, "Oh, I've got the Spotify Hi-Fi." Maybe it just comes along with the premium service they're already paying for. I don't know, but I don't know. This is one of those things that I've never really cared about too much. I guess you can probably tell that. The audio stuff, like if it made noise and sounded good and didn't like rattle around, I was happy with it. Certainly I can tell a difference between, good audio and bad audio. And I think I don't think that's like hard to do. I think if you sat somebody in front of, a great pair of speakers powered correctly with a great source, it's going to sound great every time. But it's not going to change fundamentally how people listen to their music. And Gavin Campbell jumps in. He makes the point I'm trying to make so eloquently. Hi-Fi will make the music on my Echo devices sound so much better. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. I don't know. Most people are going to listen to Spotify on their headphones. Maybe they have some decent headphones. Maybe they've got some decent things that they can, decent speakers they can listen to with a decent amp behind it. But I don't know. I just don't know that this matters to too many people out there. It didn't matter too much to me. So I'm going to go ahead and move on from that one. So this is a great article that Stacy Higginbotham, I ran across this, published the other day. And I did put this over in our channel. I put this maybe over in the HomeTech Live. I don't know. Let's see if I can paste it in there again. Oh, wait, I can paste this to everyone who is watching on YouTube and everything. Let's see. Magic of technology. This article that called Alexa Stop Spamming Me. Hey, Google, you too, is actually a really, really good article. I'm going to put it up there on the show. There we go. So you can see it, I guess. This is something that I've started noticing my devices doing as well. They're getting a little too chatty. You ask them to do something and they say, "Oh yeah, by the way, I can do this too. Did you know? Let me explain to you. Let me read you the manual on how I can do this. Also, did you know that I have this service?" And Apple's getting kind of bad with it too, because they've moved on from being a product company and they're now doing services. So you get all sorts of little pop-ups that, there's a new Apple TV show out, or hey, do you want to subscribe to Apple Fitness? And you can't get rid of those ads. But I don't know. This is something that's starting to annoy me, and you can kind of see in the show art that it's a cover of Sonos. The Sonos device has been frustrating my family for a number. The Sonos app, the S2 app, has been frustrating my family since it came out, and it is just not very good. And I think what we've seen over time is that the ad experience has gotten great. Like you can see it's gotten a little pop-up with an ad, but the device experience, the experience that I have with actually going in, selecting some music to play and hitting play on it, like that experience has actually gone down. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of this new practice. I can understand why companies are trying to add in information about other products and everything that they're offering. But man, I really wish they'd stop it, because it's really annoying. And one thing I did learn is that you can actually, and I'll put a link to this in show notes, you can turn them off on Sonos. So I'm sending this link to my wife tonight to let her know that we can do this. Chris Gamble. Sonos is an easy target. Yes, sir. It is an easy target because I use it every day. And when it, something that you use every day, you go in, you hit play on, I mean, it's a great product for that. So I don't know. I just wish that, the app experience was getting better. And then maybe you can put your ads in, but if the S2 app just really hasn't held up, unfortunately, and performance wise, it drops devices all the time. It always goes sideways. So I can see there's a lot of comments in here about, by the way, there's Ron saying, oh, by the way, drives me nuts. There's Gavin in there. Never asked me what the answer was wrong. Yeah, exactly. So, the assistants, and I think, actually Stacy had a great line here. The very last line of this, I'm just going to read it here. These are tools. They're not our actual assistants. Alexa may have a voice, but she isn't supposed to converse. How Amazon and Google overcome this will be worth watching. And I agree with that. These are tools. They're not people. And I think that it's going to take some time for these tech companies who just want to push these features and products in front of people who just want a device there on their kitchen counter to do timer work rather than, advertise intercoms and that kind of stuff to them. I think they're going to have to come to grips with that's what they're selling, and maybe figure out a better way to, let people know about new opportunities and services that they may be offering. All the links and topics we've discussed tonight can be found on our show notes at HomeTech.fm/340. While you're there, don't forget to join us. Don't forget to check out how you can join us live in the chat room, starting on Wednesday, sometime between 7 and 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Going to see how that goes. Now, question I have for everyone, and please provide some feedback over at feedback@HomeTech Podcast, or you can go to HomeTech.fm/feedback and fill out the online form there. Let me know if 7 o'clock is good for you or not. I'm seeing Chris in the show tonight. He's an outlier, I think. I don't think anybody stays up that late in the UK. So I'd like to start bringing those guys in. If 7 p.m. Eastern isn't a good time, like if I can move it to like 4 p.m. Eastern and do the same thing, I'd love to do that and see if I can hit a quick 30-minute show starting at 4 p.m. So give me some feedback. Let me know what's a good time for a show. If you just listen to the podcast, that's not going to change. The podcast will get edited down and shipped out, and you'll be able to listen to it on demand anytime you want to. And of course, I guess that goes to the recordings that are on YouTube and everything. If you want to watch my silly faces on YouTube, then you can head on over to YouTube, HomeTech.fm, and click the little YouTube logo, and that'll get you there. I do have a pick of the week this week. Let's see if I can get this up and going. Now, this, as a space nerd, this is my pick of the week. This is the Perseverance rover descent and touchdown on Mars. I'm gonna go ahead and skip to the good parts where, sorry, I went a little bit too far, but they've got the parachute. Now the parachute was amazing in and of itself. The parachute had encoded on it a 10-bit message all the way around. It took about 6 hours for the internet to figure out that there was an encoded message on the parachute. So that was really cool to see that happen. You can see here in the video that it's just dropping away. And man, this is kind of this is one of my favorite things that I've seen in a long time. As it gets closer, the rockets start firing on this thing, and you can see the dust on Mars. Like, this is on another planet. The automation, the engineering, everything behind this is so cool. Here we are. You see the dust just blowing away right there as the rover gets descended down on a sky crane. Like, they just dropped this rover with like a winch, And once it got confirmation that it had touched down, whoop, the little rocket ship that was holding it just kind of flies away. Absolutely beautiful. I am such a fan of this, and man, that was really cool just to watch again. So that is the pick of the week. As far as, it being like home automation related or automation related, it's not home automation, but there's definitely a lot of automation involved in that. So check that out. I'll put a link to the NASA video in the show notes. If you have any feedback, questions, comments, picks of the week, or great ideas for the show, give us a shout. Our email address is feedback@HomeTech.fm, or you can visit HomeTech.fm/feedback and fill out that online form. I want to give a big thank you to everyone who supports the show, but especially those who are able to financially support their show through our Patreon page. If you don't know our Patreon page, head on over to HomeTech.fm/support to learn how you can support HomeTech for as little as $1 a month. Any pledge over $5 a month gets you a big shout out on the show, but every pledge gets you an invite to our private Slack chat, The Hub, where you and other supporters of the show can gather every day for conversations about home technology. And we did actually have, Greg Runyard came through with a $5 pledge. Greg, thank you so much. It's awesome. Seeing that come through actually inspired me to just push the button and go live on this thing tonight. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about where this can take us. I can do all sorts of fun stuff with this little platform here. So can bring in guests, bring in other videos. Greg saying, you need one of those Stream Deck things, Greg. I already got one of those Stream Deck things. I can push buttons on here on the Stream Deck. Unfortunately, it doesn't really integrate very well with the platform. I had to do a bunch of tinkering. I'm actually running a couple of hacks within Chrome to make this happen, and also capturing some screen screen grabs and all sorts of stuff. There's all sorts. There's 3 other programs running in the background just to make sure Stream Deck will actually switch the video back and forth, which is pretty wild. So with that said, I guess go ahead and wrap the show up tonight. Thanks everybody for jumping in the live chat tonight. Really do appreciate it. Thanks for entertaining me so much in the YouTube video, and I'm curious to see how this does. We have a couple people watching, and I'm okay with that. We're all friends here, and I really, really do appreciate you guys jumping in and being easy on me tonight, because this was a little nerve-wracking to get started. Greg, the bed sheet. So the background is not my favorite. I've done the green screen thing. I don't like it. So I went for a green curtain, or not gray curtain. I like gray. So I've got a gray background on order. It's coming in, but it'll be a little while before that gets here. So if you need this bed sheet, I can ship it to you. It's very nice. It's actually soft. It's probably a queen size bed sheet. I don't know. It's actually for photography or whatever, but it just looks like a great bed sheet to me. So I'll have a nice little background that's stretchy and stuff that I can throw it back there. But yeah, that's kind of where that went. But thanks everybody. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you next week.